Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is PoppinCulture. My guest today is comedian and member of, tell me the name of your group one more time.
Click Classics.
Click Classics. Jaylen Orr. Jaylen's a very funny comedian from Greenville, South Carolina. He does shows all over. If he's in your city, please check him out. Very funny comedian. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Of course, man. Of course. Appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. Jaylen chose Underdogs and how they have influenced pop culture. But before we get into that, whenever I have comedians on, I like to ask, a lot of people like to focus on bombing, but I'm more focused on succeeding. So when was the first time you killed and how did it feel?
All right. First time I killed. Now, how I forgot to ask before we started. How can I just talk freely and then whatever you don't want in it, you'll cut it out? Okay, cool.
I'm one of those people, bro. Speak as freely as possible, and whatever you want me to cut out, I'll cut out. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Oh, okay, cool. Bet. I'm getting reckless now. I'm playing. The first time I killed, it was in my first year of comedy because I started in April of 2019. So April of last year was 1 year. And then, of course, the pandemic happened. So I say I'm about a year and 8-9 months in at this point. So back within my first 4 months, I was going up and I was just able to get like giggles. Sometimes they'd just be silent. I was like, I can't figure this out. Like, I don't know what to do. So I sat down and tried to write a joke about my sense of humor that would be as close to what I would laugh about, just to see how it would work. Because I was like, let me see if what I talk about is funny. And it was a joke about me and my friends were graduating school. And one thing when you graduate, and you're always going to be talking with your friends about, what jobs opportunities you're getting. Or, hey, what you doing for a job? Oh, I'm doing this, da. And so like I'm talking to some of my friends, and then one of them told me they got this opportunity for like a really great company, but they had to turn the job down. And I was like, what? Turn the job down? What are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, the company, it just doesn't align with my morals. And I was like, all right, if you gonna give up a job because of the company morals, how much are they gonna pay you? And he was like, 100,000. And I was like, dollars? Like $100,000, my G? And he was like, yeah, man. And I was like, oh my God, bro. Morals will never make me cut out any amount of money like that. I was trying to get him to understand. I was like, look, put it plain and simple to you, for $100,000, my morals going out the window at that point. For $100,000, be real with you, I'll be an accountant for the KKK at this point. And like, as soon as I said that, like the crowd just fucking erupted and started dying laughing. And I was just like having a good time with it. And that was the first time I ever like killed. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad they like this because I'm pretty sure this isn't like typical of what people would talk about. So That was one of the earliest memories of killing I can remember.
Nice. Well, I promise, guys, Jaylen kills all the time. Every time I see him, he does amazing. If he's in your city, please check him out. Is it anything that compares to that feeling that you've done in your life? The number one answer so far has been sex.
I would probably say, I don't know. I played a lot of sports growing up, so I would probably say sports. And when you do something similar, as if like you do a really great pass to a wide receiver with like a last second game winning touchdown, last second shot, or you just watching like an NBA game and your favorite team hit the shot to win the game. Like that's literally the only thing I can remember where like that comes to me where I'm like, oh yeah, the adrenaline, it feels good. You in the zone. Because it literally feels like a zone like sports when you're up there on stage and you're making people laugh to me. So I'm like, I think that will probably more so connect than the sex part of it personally.
Nice. To go back to your joke, and this is just, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but it's not fellow black men. For $1 million, would you wear a dress?
No. Now, that's the one part about the joke a lot of people don't get is that, yeah, I'm saying that, but there are limits to what I would do for money. Like I'm not wearing a dress for $1 million. You?
Carlos Miller said something that like blew my mind, but he was like, "Why I gotta be the nigga that turned down $1 million? Everybody else done made millions, but I gotta be the nigga that be like, nah, man, I'm better than this. Let me get my forward focus." And ever since he said that, I kind of like
Somebody that spoke to you.
yeah, it was just like, man, because it's weird because I've been the same way. Like, no, I got pride, I got dignity, but when he said it, I was just like, hey man, I really don't want to go on my Chevy Spark and be like, you know what, this could have been a Tesla if I had just wore a thong. And not a thong, but well, whatever for a million. But it's just, it's just one of those things where it is kind of eye-opening and as an aspect, but still I really don't know. I'm on the fence, man.
I would definitely say it's not for the simple fact of that, like, I don't want to be the one to have to turn it down because I'm mad. Because I'm like, oh, y'all trying to make me do it, but y'all wouldn't do it. It's more so the fact of the sell your soul aspect of the entertainment scene. Because I feel like once you start doing things like that, you can't really stop. I personally, I mean, of course, everyone can learn, but once you kind of just start, you're like, you know what? I'll do it if somebody pay me enough. I'll do it if somebody pay me enough. Because essentially, you're going to get to the point where they'll probably pay you enough to suck their dick at some point. So it's like, bro, you know what? Let me just go ahead and draw the line clearly in the sand where y'all can know, all right, this is as far as he's going.
I mean, you're right, man. You start with Shanae and then get the Big Mama House 3. It's kind of
wearing a fat suit in 80-degree, 90-degree weather, fucking trying to film a movie for people that, I think it's still part of culture. A lot of people remember that movie, but is it worth it to this day?
Hey, if you got USA Network, you've seen it, yeah. Cool, man. All right, we'll get into your topic, man. Underdogs and how they have influenced pop culture and also why they're important. Any special reason why you chose this topic?
Man, be real with you. I don't know if everyone feels like this, but I think in the back of everyone's mind, you believe yourself to be an underdog. Because, like, I remember I was talking to, well, maybe not everyone, maybe a lot of people in the Black community, because I was talking to one of my white comic friends, and he was trying to get me to explain the idea of a hater to him. And I was like, what do you mean explain it? He was like, I don't understand. Like, I hear Black people, they always talking about hater this and hater that. And I was like, haters are like people who don't want you to succeed because, they want to be in your position, or they just don't like that you ain't where they at, and you need to have them against you. He's like, don't everyone just want everybody to succeed? I'm like, no, nigga, they're haters. They don't want you to succeed. He was like, why? Why don't they want me to succeed though? I've done nothing to these people. I said, that's the point of hating. They have no reason to be a hater, but they still choose to be one. And so he was just amazed. And he was like, maybe that's why like Black people have such a chip on their shoulder, because y'all always feel like the world is like have somebody, like it doesn't have to be white people, it could just be anybody. Like we always have a chip on our shoulder, like somebody out here don't want me to succeed like how I want to succeed. And I'm gonna find out who you are and use you as my motivation, bitch. And it's like, I think that's a pretty good summation of what Black people do, because that's what I do. Whoever I know hating on me, I try to know the first, last name, mother's name, father's name. I want to know your whole family history so I can just go ahead and put all you guys on my vision board at night and be like, yeah, fuck you. Fuck that person.
Put them on the vision board. Oh shit.
That's what you gotta do, man. You gotta visualize it. You gotta eat, sleep, live, and breathe success, and trying to, I don't know. That's me. I'm trying to make sure I prove a lot of people wrong. I want to do that.
One quick question about haters, man. Have you ever had someone doing way better than you in life? Like they are like paraselling like way above you in life at this point, but they still hate on you?
So someone who's more successful than me hate on me?
Yeah, like there's no reason for them to hate on you. They're way more successful, they've done more, but you realize like, oh, this person is really hating on me. Has that ever happened to
you? I would say yeah, but not to like a kind of crazy extent, because what I would probably equate it to is two things. So I feel like I've been really blessed in life, both as a child and as an adult now, because when I was younger, I grew up in a family that had a little bit of money. So it wasn't like crazy, but we were just, we were kind of middle class compared to everyone else who was around us. So people who were like on my sports teams and stuff, who were doing better than me, like these niggas getting scholarships, da 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 da. would be mad and be like, this nigga got a silver spoon in his mouth. He can't, why he coming to practice doing all this, da, 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 da. It's like, bro, what are you mad for? Like, I'm literally not even doing nothing to you. Like, you got the scholarships and stuff. Yeah, I got a silver spoon in my mouth, but damn, bro, it's like, chill out a little bit. It ain't that serious. But
it is. It's mind blowing, ain't it?
Yes, it's crazy because it's like I told my friend, like you never know why somebody would want to hate on you. Like it literally can be they can like you one day, roll over in their sleep, stub their toe in their dream, and for some reason that stub toe just make them think of you. And from now on, they're just like, I don't like this person. And thankfully, I have the type of personality where I don't give a fuck if you like me or don't. It's cool long as I know. I just need to know where we stand so I can act accordingly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like in comedy. It's one thing I've definitely learned is usually people that like don't like you or have like a bad attitude is other people that don't like them too. So it's just like, and they'll pull you to the side very quickly, like, hey, do you know this person? Yeah, they're a dick, and it's just like, oh yeah, we know, and it built a lot of connections that way. I'm serious. I'm not gonna throw out any names, but I've definitely built out a lot of connections. And they've been like, you don't mess with that squad. I'm like, nah, those guys are wild, man. They're crazy. They're not good people.
So would you say you fall into that for the social aspect of the comedy scene, that like when it comes to someone who you know well enough or they may be able to help benefit you, if they don't like someone, you would then not like the person that they don't like, or is it just
it's all
mutual?
because it's one of those things where it depends on what it is. If someone, I'm not gonna throw names, but if somebody was like, hey, this guy tried to defend this other comedian that was an alleged rapist, and like, bro, he tried to cover it up, or they tried to like sidestep it, then that's when I'm like, oh no, I don't want to be nowhere near them. Like that's
You're
not
right.
right. You know, they can't just be like, oh, rape is wrong now, and then they try to hide it all this other time. Like, no, that's no, you can't just, if you knew about it, you knew about it. Like that's not cool. So that's one example that's happened. I've seen happen, and it's just like, no, I don't want to be nowhere around them. Like, oh yeah, you can book them, but I don't want to do shows with people that try to protect a rapist. That's not my thing.
Right. I feel that.
But yeah, it
Just to
just
let you
depends on
know,
what
if
they
this
did.
person who you're talking about watches your podcast, they know you're talking about them. So I hope you're ready for Michael Garrick to be on somebody's vision board tomorrow morning.
I mean, if they do, man, they can't be like, oh man, you don't like us for defending a rapist like that.
Hey, there's worse reason for somebody to hate you.
Yeah, I would love that post. Be like, Michael, I would be ready for that post. I'd be like, oh, okay, all right, that's one argument I'm pretty sure nobody wants to get into. Like
that is
nobody,
true.
yeah, nobody wants those receipts read. So stick with comedy, which comedian do you think has like the best underdog story you've seen?
Great question. Jesus. Let me think. I usually tend to like underdogs anyway, so my favorite is playing. Would you call it an underdog if they're a success now?
Yeah, it's still underdog. They had to go through a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, then, easy answer, Dave Chappelle, of course. That's an easy toss-up because he was one of my favorites. I actually didn't get on Dave Chappelle till 2018. Like, I knew about his show, but I'd never watched it. Never seen a second of his stand-up till 2018.
Jaylen's young, guy. I'm just letting everybody know Jaylen is young. Like,
yeah. Give me a break. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a sophomore, junior in college, and I'm just like, I literally remember my friends were just watching one of his Chappelle show episodes one day in the dorm, and I was like, let me just like see what this guy talking about, see what he about. And the first thing I watched of him was the Killing Them Softly, and I absolutely fell in love with Dave Chappelle, stand up, the whole thing. I was like, man, I'm invested in this. Let me see what's going on with it. And just seeing his story from how he started at 14, grinded his way up in the DC, New York areas, bro, cutting his stone, then finally got his big break with the Chappelle show. Then at a certain point, he reached that plateau to where like they wanted him to change and kind of make it more modernized and more mainstream, so it could be a little bit more digestible for more audience members. And he was like, nah, left. They started calling him crackhead. He doing all these drugs. He went to Africa. He ain't never coming back. He's off his rocker. And something told me, I was like, I feel like he's gonna come back. Like, I don't know why, but so I was like, there's no way he's just gone. But he was gone for like 10 years. But to me, it was only like 2 months because I had enough time to watch all his shows and catch up on the whole thing. So everybody else was waiting for 10 years. And then I waited for 2 months. And on the third month, he announced that he came back with I forgot what the first special was called in those first trilogy he came out with, but it was before Sticks and Stones. It might have been Equanimity. Is that the first one he came out with?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, I think it was one in that little trilogy on Netflix. And I was like, oh, Dave Chappelle's back. Dave Chappelle's back. And all my friends were like, you only been waiting for like 2 months. Don't act like that.
Yeah, that's how we should feel. Yeah.
I felt the same. I speeded my way through the little same waiting. So it felt like 10 years for me as well. But yeah, I like his underdog story. I'm gonna have to keep thinking on it to see if I can think of any more, but you can ask me whatever the next question is because I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head like that.
Yeah, okay. When it comes to music, is there any underdog story that you know of?
Music. Of course, NWA. Coming up in the time they were coming up in musically, trying to figure out a way to break in, get through. And the type of music they were creating was so in your face with what they were trying to say that it was like today, it probably would have been even harder for them to do something like what they were doing. They were another group, didn't know too much about till the movie came out. Give me a break, folks. I was probably born around the time the songs came out, but I knew who everybody was. And I knew the group. It's just I didn't know the whole story till I saw the movie. And I was like, oh, dang, these dudes that were actually like icons that was doing something back then and changed the whole music industry, entertainment industry, from Black culture just in general. And so that was pretty awesome to see that movie and understand what they did and went through as a group.
I have to listen to the lyrics. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but after listening to the lyrics, were you like, because I know how I felt when I listened to the lyrics, I was like, yeah, this sounds like Ice Cube wrote this shit. Like this, like everything sound like Ice Cube. Like every time Eazy-E was rapping, I was like, yeah, Ice Cube wrote that shit. Like that sounds like the same rhyme scheme and everything.
Yo, I mean, you have to kind of acknowledge that he definitely may have been influential for Eazy. He may not have wrote it down, like he might have been talking.
He wrote everything.
Eazy got his notepad out. Yeah,
he wrote everything.
He wrote everything?
Yep, he wrote everything.
And so I heard something this past week because I was watching I watched Friday like yesterday, and I saw an article or something about how he got kicked out of the group, and they never really explained, not kicked out, but they never really explained why he kind of left the group. Do you know why? Because I still don't understand why the group kind of split.
Ice Cube left?
Yeah.
Because he knew like he was about to get like fucked out a lot of money. And they started like dissing him for leaving the group. And that's when he wrote No Vaseline, and they were like, oh, snap.
No Vaseline. I gotta listen to that. I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah, man, great diss track, man. It sounds exactly what you think it is. Yeah.
Yo, do you support diss tracks? Like, are you one of those people that likes the beef in industries?
I mean, of course not, just because two Black people usually that are beefing, but I can't lie, man. Some of them have made amazing music. Like Back to Back is still like the best diss I've ever heard. And it's been a lot of diss songs, and I'm pretty sure people are like, oh, he likes it because it's Drake. But like, I put Back to Back against a lot of other diss tracks, and it's like, it's hard to top. It's the beat too. The beat's amazing. Like the beat could have been in any song.
The beat is phenomenal, but here's my thing about it. He called him a ghostwriter. He told him he had ghostwriter, so it ain't like really doing his own thing. So immediately this dude was just like, all right, just because some people write my song, you don't think I got bars, boy? Let me show you some bars for you. And he snapped on that man for a solid 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And when I tell you, Meek was calling crying uncle in that corner, I couldn't blame him. I was like, oh, you might just need to go ahead and tap out for this one.
And guys, we're gonna get back to Underdogs, but I think what really made that back to back so well is because if you remember, it was the two. Like it was the it was the power punch. Like he threw the jab out with charged up, which charged up really wasn't that special. It was okay, but it really wasn't that great of a song. It was a good jab. But then when back to back came out, it was like, oh shit, like oh
yo, literally it started from when he said, oh man. I was like, oh, not again. And I was like, man, get somebody get this dude, dog. Like I remember pausing it. I didn't get through an actual listen through the song to like my phone. I didn't get through a first listen to like the next day. I was like, oh shoot. I had to keep rewinding it for like the first minute 30. That's my favorite part of it. You got to get back on it.
That song was so fire that when Drake said back to back, like the cover of Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson was like, look at these pack of niggas looking. Get the movie. That's how that went. The only diss they can compare is kind of like DMX and Ja Rule. I forgot the exact lyric, but DMX really went hard on Ja Rule.
I don't know about that beef. I never heard about that.
Well, it was like 50 Cent, Eminem. It was a whole bunch of people dissing Ja Rule.
Yeah, I remember that one, 50 Cent, Eminem. That one was kind of crazy. But yeah, I think in terms of the best single from diss tracks back to back it's up there for me. Maybe top 2, top 3.
And I'm not one of those people that like the story of Adonis isn't a good diss track. It's just like it's great. It was dry stitching. Well, it wasn't dry stitching, it was stitching. And it's a good diss track, but it was just weird. It was weird that it was Pusha T. Like that's the only weird part. It was just like
it was so weird that I didn't know who Pusha T was until that song. And then once I figured out who he was, I was like, where did this come from? Why is he just making this diss track out of nowhere?
Well, Drake dissed him first, and then that's when Pusha came. And Pusha T won that battle. Like it was kind of
he beat him. He beat him in that one.
But it was still kind of like people just like still Pusha T, which is weird because it's you would think it would take some of the success away, but it's like Drake lost, man. You play a 6-game series, you're gonna lose eventually.
Oh yeah.
So the moving it, and I think this is really a big deal when it comes to pop culture, but in general, just so important to, I guess, American culture, sports. I think sports is the best storytelling form when it comes to underdogs. What were some of your favorite athletes that were underdogs?
All my favorite athletes are underdogs. So started off first one I remember was AI. Not that he was like people looked down on him or didn't think he was going to be doing good. It was just his undersizedness. So like I can count that even though he was a highly touted, highly recruited athlete, he was still undersized. So it was like, all right, he got to show these dudes and just going on the court, being who he was, being so cool, crisscrossing, dribbles, crisscross. What the hell? That's not it. It's crossover. Sorry, black people. Crossovers, step backs, all that, the hair, the tattoos, everything, man. Like I remember when I first saw AI, I was like, he was probably the first person in my mind that I could see as like on that next level of human beings. But I was like, I don't think that's a real person. Like he couldn't have been a real person, though. He was too cool, too smooth, too good. Everything always went his way. I was like, there's no way that's a legit person. And, I saw him years later in the Big 3 thing that he has with Ice Cube. And that was my only time ever seeing AI play because I went to Philadelphia game the year he got traded because I didn't know he was going to get traded. So I bought a ticket for a preseason game that year and he got traded. But Andre Iguodala played and I was like, oh, okay, I got to see this. But I was pissed. I was like, I'm never going to see AI play again. And I finally got to see him play at 45. And the craziest part about seeing AI play, the first crossover he did, you gotta think he's like 40 something at this point. So he's doing a crossover. He gets the man and blowing by him. And as he's going by him, he goes to lay the ball up, comes down and hurt. And he couldn't go back in the game. I can't remember what happened. Might have sprained his ankle or something. But literally, I just saw like 20 seconds of AI play at 45. And I was just like, this nigga might actually be human now, because I kept up with my eyes and could see what was going to happen. And I was like, this isn't the same. But he's still my nigga. So I'm glad I bought the ticket. Came to see all these shows, all these games. So it was a good experience. After him, it was Michael Vick. Michael Vick wasn't really undersized or anything, so I wouldn't count that one. But after Michael Vick went to jail, I had to find someone new to support just because I needed somebody to watch. So I fell in love with Drew Brees because he went to New Orleans, and this definitely is an underdog story because everybody thought he was done when he first went to New Orleans because he had that shoulder surgery. They just had the hurricane. So everybody's like, New Orleans, you could have went anyway, and your shoulder messed up anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to follow this guy because he picked this city, even though he didn't have to. He could have been in Miami with the hose. He would have seen a couple of hurricanes coming through Miami too. But shout out to everyone in New Orleans, by the way. Not messing. You have a beautiful city.
I like the fact that you went right to New Orleans. Now, Miami, you still got hoes. Just saying.
I'm just saying, and he was a married man, so it didn't even matter. It doesn't even matter at that point. But I love his story. And then my favorite, Drew Brees and Steph Curry are my two favorite athletes of all time. And of course, Steph Curry is underdog. Blah, 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 blah. So it's always crazy. I get on to people like after they become known, but I get on before they do something big. So like I started liking Drew Brees 2006. They won the Super Bowl in 2009. Steph Curry, I started following him in 2012, and they won the finals in 2014 or 15, one of those 2 years. And I'm just like, damn, every time I pick a team, they just start winning as soon as I come. I must be good luck charm or something like that. So
nice.
If you got a sports team, you need to win or something, let me know, and I may turn them into my team for you.
I appreciate it, man. My underdog sports story is still Jake Delhomme. He took
Jake Delhomme.
Yeah, he took the Carolina Panthers to their first Super Bowl.
Yeah. I remember that. I watched that game.
That was an amazing season because like nobody gave him any credit as a quarterback. Like no one. He came in just after I believe McNair got hurt, and for 11 games straight, or it might have been a break for maybe 3 games, but I believe we won 11 or 12 games there. But 11 games we won in the last 2 minutes. And that was it was something spectacular to see. I hate that we couldn't pull it in the Super Bowl that year, but if you ever get a chance, man, look it up, man. That was
no, bro. I'm definitely up to my snuff on the football now. So I remember Jake Delhomme, him and Steve Smith, sorry,
and Musa Muhammad.
Music Muhammad, all those dudes was
and Davis, the running back.
Yeah, Davis been there for a long time. I'm kind of sad that Cam didn't win that Super Bowl for y'all, but I thought he was going to bring Carolina their first championship, but Denver was a little too much for him. I didn't know you were a Carolina Panthers fan though.
Oh yeah, man! I've been to 11 games in my life. Trying to take my stepson. I'll probably take him in 2 years. He's about to turn 4. I want to wait till he's at least 6.
Yeah, wait till you can remember the memory. Because like my mom took me to Disneyland when I was like really, really young. And the only thing I remember is that we took a picture in a picture booth there. So I'm like, at least wait till they can remember memories. So that way you don't waste your money.
Oh, I ain't wasting no money. You heard my joke about Chuck E. Cheese. I'm serious. I'm still mad. She wouldn't let me post that picture, but I promise you, it was a picture of me and him in Mickey Mouse shirts and Mickey Mouse hat with an arm around Chucky. And she was like, don't you post that picture. The caption was going to say, if my stepson says we went to Disney World, we went to Disney World. To correct him, if he says he had a good time at Disney World, he had a good time at Disney World.
Let him do his thing. Really quickly, can I switch headphones because my phone just gave me a low percentage thing? So let me grab my.
No problem, brother. Oh man. But yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the podcast, please like, follow, subscribe.
What
Also,
is life?
huh? I was telling them to like, follow, and subscribe. Everything helps out the channel so much. Um, yeah, guys. This is Jaylen Orr, very funny comedian. Um, he's only been doing it for a year and 8 months, but I promise you, if you go see him, guys, he doesn't seem that way at all. He has great um, material. He's mostly clean. You back, buddy?
I'm back.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Um, so the stick on the underdog story when it comes to sports before we go to the next topic. Next group
Mhm.
conversation, I guess. Storylines in sports. Lakers, Celtics. In their storyline, who do you feel like has been the underdog more?
Out of the Lakers and the Celtics?
Well, yeah, let's say when they go against each other, which one has more likely not been the favorite?
Lakers, because I feel like most people want to hate on the Lakers before the Celtics. Like every time they play each other, the majority of people I talk to that aren't Lakers and Celtics fans want the Celtics to win unless their team is always beaten by the Celtics or something like that. But I genuinely feel most people are like hate or despise the Lakers just for like they got the most, so they're technically the best. They get the most praise, so everyone's like, you know what? They've done enough winning in their life. Let's go for the other guy.
Okay.
What would you say?
I would I don't really follow it that well. Like I know the history, but when it comes to that, I really follow players more than I follow teams. But like I do know the history of the rivalry. Fun fact for people that didn't know, apparently Boston. The only reason why Boston got big market for basketball was because of Larry Bird. Apparently, like Boston was so racist at one point, they were just like, "Yeah, we don't need all these African Americans playing basketball." So when Larry Bird became a star in Boston, that's when like all the people like they start selling tickets like crazy.
Really?
I mean, Boston, I've heard was
I
racist. I've
mean,
never been, but like that was the big thing. Like they weren't really a bad team. They just had a lot of black players on the team. They kept petitioning like, how can we get more people in the stadium? They was like, take these black guys off the team. They get Larry Bird, which Larry Bird is a superstar in his
damn.
own right. Larry Bird comes in, he's winning games, and they pack out the stadium. You say something similar with the Lakers. The Laker girls are the reason why they really became popular. Before that, no other team had like uh, girls that like cheerleaders in the middle of halftime shows. Jerry Christ, I think his name is. He was the one that introduced that, and that's why they got more people. And then, of course, they got Magic Johnson, and once they got Magic, everything else got the ball rolling very quicker that way too.
Yeah, I think that was because actually that's right around the same time. Because I'm not sure, but I do believe Larry and Magic were in the same draft class, right?
No, Magic was 1 year ahead, I believe, 1 or 2 years
Okay, one
ahead.
here. I knew they were close because I remember watching a documentary about how once, like before they came into the NBA was like okay, but they said it was teetering on actually becoming like a unprofitable business. Like they weren't selling enough tickets, weren't getting enough people in seats. But for some reason, college basketball was doing particularly well, and like what you were talking about, Magic was doing so great. He was such a star, and then he went to the City of Stars, and then a year later, Bird came out, and then that rivalry happened, and then now people are now invested in the NBA because they want to see what Magic and Larry are going to do against each other. Then they start building their teams. They start getting their teammates, getting their coaches, and everything just started coming together. And I give the NBA's credit; its marketing team did that for them because making it Bird versus Magic, Celtics versus Lakers, just so phenomenal in selling that narrative to people that this is something that you have to see. And
Yeah, and I
um,
ain't trying to say Boston is racist, but when I was reading up on it, and it was like the Celtics couldn't outsell the Brewers. I think that's their hockey team. I was like, all right, maybe that is it. Maybe when
I
hockey,
wouldn't doubt it, but
yeah,
like if you think about it, what sports team anywhere would you say doesn't have any kind of racial tones underneath it? Like I get it, it's sports, and the biggest thing about sports is getting into somebody's head. So even if your city isn't racist towards you, but the opposing city comes in with all these black guys on the team, it's like, well, Magic's at the free throw line. What can I say to him that might throw him off his kilter to miss?
True. Yeah, true. I mean, dude, I'm a big like MMA fan, but I'm a big fighting fan in general. And yeah, bro, like you should see, bro, it's cutthroat. Weili Zhang used to be like the flyweight UFC champion. She lost her last fight to I forgot her name, American fighter though, great fighter. Both of them are great fighters. And literally, bro, they were saying like some racist stuff as soon as she lost. And Weili Zhang, she knows basic English, so she's just like, you can see it on her face, like, whoa, like the crowd is saying some horrible things, and even Joe Rogan's making a face like, yo, this ain't cool. Like this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with. Are those female fighters? Because
Yep.
I'm kind of familiar with UFC, but not like
Yep,
crazy.
both of them are female fighters. Yep. But to get off, we had a great a lot of. If you guys pay attention, we taught a lot. We taught you. You learned a lot right now.
We spitting game.
Yes. Movies. Of course, we got to start off with Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
Right.
Besides that, is there any other movies that come to mind when you think of the underdog?
Of course, Underdog. That's a classic. No, I'm just kidding. I can't even remember the plot of Underdog. I just know he's a superhero.
The only thing I was thinking was, it's the guy that plays My Name is Earl. That's great.
Dang, Underdog movies that I would talk.
Would you consider Rocky?
Yes. I can't believe I forgot about Rocky. Rocky's definitely, it's the underdog movie of the way happened in real life. At least not today. Back then, boxing was a little different. It was not early, but you know what I mean? It was, fighters aren't as physically gifted and developed as what they are nowadays. So maybe it was a chance he could sneak in, not become heavyweight champion, but you know what I'm saying? He could have made some noise in the arena. He could have, well, actually, damn, I just thought about, I just saw his fights the other day. I love watching his knockout videos. He's a current fighter. He may have, the last fight he fought, I think the guy's name was Tyson Fury. Do you remember?
Deontay Wilder.
He's basically Rocky, if you think about it. Come on, you got it. He started in the underground and he was like, I just needed a way to get my family up out of here. So I just got in the ring and just dude. And like, dog, have you ever seen his highlight videos for like knocking people out?
The only reason why I don't see it is just, remember, I'm a fight fan. So like I see it from different eyes than you do. Deontay doesn't take that much punishment, except for that last fight.
Yeah, that last fight, he was kind of, he was on the ropes there for a while.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying, the story itself, yeah.
So are you not a fan of Deontay? Like, I'm surprised to hear this.
No, I said I am a fan.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, in Rocky, he was taking all that punishment in the ring. When it comes to Deontay, he's in and out. He's like, because, he has so much power that you got to come in there with the perfect strategy, or because he's knocked so many people out.
Yeah. 41-0, I think, before he got to Tyson Fury, and then they tied, and then he won the second one, and then the third one he lost. I can't remember the exact.
The first fight was a tie. Tyson Fury was winning the fight, really, but literally they cheated Deontay. They counted way too long. The guy was knocked out. Like, he caught him in the knife and dropped him. He was down for at least 22 seconds. But
Deontay
they counted.
Was?
No, Tyson Fury was.
Oh, okay.
So when he got up, they just considered it a draw just because like they counted wrong. Second fight, Tyson Fury beat him, and the third fight's coming up next month. So the favorite is Tyson Fury. I'm pretty sure if Deontay has a puncher's chance, but if you had to put money on it, it would be Tyson Fury, just because Tyson Fury is just so much bigger than him. It doesn't look that way on TV, but Tyson Fury is taller and he has about 50 pounds on him.
Mm, yeah, yeah. But like what you said, that puncher's chance is always which. Would you say that what you want in your corner rather than not like just the puncher's chance, but his kind of puncher's chance, where like he's the most talented knockout artist of our generation? Like, you think do you more favorable of that or the skill of Tyson Fury of that his size, he's able to move, he can take some punishment. He's basically like a good old classic boxer in a sense.
No, man, you got what I said.
Sorry,
I would.
my mom.
Oh, that's no problem, brother.
Yeah, my mom tried to
Is
call me.
that
Sorry.
you need to? Do you need to call it back? Because I don't want
No, no,
everything.
no, no, no. I just everything's
Okay.
cool. She's calling me back from earlier, so I just
Oh,
texted
okay.
her. I was like, I'm in
Okay.
a
Cool.
thing. So
Cool. To answer your question, you got to go with Tyson just because you can't beat the basics. Don't get me wrong. Deontay has the eraser. That's what they call it, because with that much power, he can erase everything he does wrong. But I got to go with the basics, man. If if you know what to do, you should be able to beat someone that still. Because remember, like you said, Deontay only been boxing since he was 17. Tyson's been boxing since he was 3.
I didn't know he was boxing that long. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. I mean, technically, like he was learning, but of course, he didn't
Yeah,
spar.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what
I
you're
hope he wasn't in the crib beating people up and shit. Uh,
talking
yeah,
about. They're like, this boy gonna be a fighter.
yes. When it comes to underdogs, when have you seen it turn bad? Like this person was the underdog, now he's on top, and he's an asshole or she's an asshole.
Mm, okay. When who has the script flipped on? Um, I feel like that could be everyone after 2016 because of the Me Too movement. It's just like not just the Me Too movement, but just the effects of cancel culture in the sense that someone can change the narrative on one person just from whatever goes on. So a lot of people would say with someone that I was like, dang, that's messed up. The script. Someone who I thought it would never happen to. He didn't get canceled, but it was like people came after him was Kevin Hart. Like I was really surprised when that the internet came after him for his tweets and things did in the past. And I was like, oh, okay, dang. If basically like Dave Chappelle said, if you can get Kevin Hart, this dude's 3 tweets away from perfect. So
Yeah,
who he ain't gonna get at this point?
yeah. Kevin Hart's been proven, like, unless he just does something horrible, the only way he could have got counseled, and I think he probably could have bounced back. But if his wife had left him when he cheated, that would have been rough. Like, I think that's the only time where he
Yeah,
probably would have had to like take a step back.
yeah. If he and then even then, like a lot of people were already down on him because they felt like once he reached a certain level, his stand up wasn't the same anymore. Which I have a theory on that. I think once like I read what is the guy who I'm blanking on his name right now, Steve Martin. I read his book about stand up
Yeah,
and
yeah,
awesome book. And when he said that thing of like stand up has a kind of feel to it to where once you're reaching 20,000, 40,000 people in a room, it's not stand up at that point, and essentially you're doing something way totally different. And when he felt that he wasn't comfortable with it, so he just quit doing stand up, straight to movies, and just took his fame and started doing that. And I think that's what happened to Kevin Hart. He became too famous, too well known, to where I think what happened is like once you become that well known, people are able to read you. They're able to know kind of where you're gonna go with your punchlines and assume, and then the ego in all of us are like, oh, I thought of a better Kevin Hart punchline than Kevin Hart did. Like he could have said this, and it's like, come on, bro, like
I
just
think it.
relax.
I, I think it's that in the relatable. Kevin Hart's last special, he talked about a Walmart greeter, And it's just hard to believe. It's hard to believe he goes to Walmart. It's hard to believe that he actually shops for himself. Is that fourth wall where you just realize like none of this is true. Where like when we tell a joke, it's like, yeah, I went to the gas station and this homeless got peed on my car. It's like, oh yeah, I can see this happening to this guy. We don't, unlike Kevin
Right.
Hart, where it's like, this is $100 million man right here. I doubt he's at Walmart in front of a greeter trying to buy pancake mix.
Yeah. And I actually respect Kevin Hart for still doing it because I always thought I was under the assumption that Kevin Hart wanted to be an icon, not necessarily the comedic rock star that he is. Like I knew he wants to be a great stand-up, but in my mind, I always thought he wanted to be like a mogul, just like he's movies, he's TV, he's whatever he's doing, and all of that just leads to more success for him and more fame for him. But to me, once I saw him create this past special and the one before that, I was like, oh, he don't even have to do these specials yet. He's doing them. And then the last one, he was like, I, I think the title was something along the lines of "I don't give a freak," right? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Was it
something like that. No, I think it's no fucks given or something.
No fucks given? Yeah, no fucks given. So that one, and then I was like, oh, okay. Kevin Hart actually does love stand up. It's just he's legitimately probably too busy to become the old kind of grind and just stand up that what he was. So I grew more respect for him because of no fucks given, even if it wasn't the most hilarious thing I've
Yeah. And you
ever
said
seen.
something really like important on the Joe Rogan podcast. He said, I have employees, and it's like me saying the wrong thing doesn't affect just me, it affects like a bunch of other families.
Yeah, yeah, that's the tipping point of which is why I think I want to stay a little bit away from Kevin Hart and more so along Dave Chappelle's track to where he has no filter because just it's just Dave, but it's not just Dave. You know what I mean? Like, of
Yeah.
course, there are people in his corner who he pays, who he's da. But because he's so uh, detached and not trying to be on mainstream networks and movies, he can say and do whatever he wants and still get booked because he's good enough to, and because he wants to go that route of I don't want to hold stifle my creativity because other people need to feed their families. If you're gonna be around me, you're gonna be around me knowing I'm gonna say some shit that may get you in trouble. You may have to talk to your wife about what I said on stage tonight, and I don't give a fuck.
Oh man, so I mean so how many shows we gonna do together, buddy, so I can know know when know when I can just let her know like, hey look, I'm about to perform with Jaylen and I don't agree with none of this shit. I have no idea. I told him not to say it. So
Look,
I wouldn't say it
look,
to the
babe.
public, but I would definitely say it to my wife. Like, look, I don't agree. Strippers in the bathroom. I don't know. I didn't
I
know it
don't
was a
know where
bathroom
he
there.
gets these ideas from, and I don't know why he's even using my name. Like
Yeah,
he didn't have to throw me in that story.
yeah.
He could have made up anyone's name.
I wish you would throw my name. The nigga been lying since I met him. This he throw my name in the story. I'd be here too.
Have you ever heard of a habitual liar? That's what this is.
Yeah,
Habitual.
I was well.
Oh
Uh,
shoot.
so this is a two-part question, but I really want to get your opinion on it. I guess both of us we could be considered underdogs. I don't know if you feel that way, but when it comes to your comedy career, because I know you're gonna blow up, bro. I can't wait to read your book. You're very, very funny. I can only see you going up from here. Not trying to like stroke your ego. I'm just being honest. Um,
Thank you.
no problem, brother. What do you
Same to
think?
you.
You, buddy, I know how funny I am. This levels.
What do you
it's
mean?
it's levels, bro. I know how far I can make it. Trust me.
No,
I'm
see,
not.
and that no.
We're not
See,
get on
that was the
me.
thing. I thought you were saying that from a point of confidence. Okay,
I'm
I'm gonna get
good.
on you. Fine.
I'm good, bro. Like I said, I'm okay. Um, what do you think you enjoy? Where you are now, where you go in the room, it's like people don't. Not saying people don't know you, but it's just more of like, is he funny? Is he not funny? Or when you get to that level where people are coming to see you and they already know you're funny.
Yeah, I think the latter because proving people wrong in the early stages is cool and all, but once you get to the point of where people know you, I feel like that's the point to where like your audience of people who could essentially be your friends, they're just not around you to be your friends. Because I feel like your following, your followers, the people who support you are people who sort of kind of like-minded. They like the same things you like. They find what you talk about humorous. And so I think you'll be able to enjoy so much better shows because you're able to entertain people who it's easier because they're people who like the things you like. So that's one aspect of it. But I will miss the fact of turning someone who probably doesn't even know what I'm talking about, doesn't even like the things I like, but they still like, oh yeah, this dude, he got me. I ain't even gonna lie, he got me. That's pretty cool to see too.
Bro, you talk about you, my nigga, and that's not being funny. And I appreciate every last one of my supporters, every last one of my listeners. You know what my biggest listening group for PoppinCulture is?
What?
South Dakota. Guys, he's laughing because he appreciates your support, and that's why he's laughing. Thank you guys so much.
South Dakota. We love you out there. What? I'm trying to think. What goes on in South Dakota?
A lot of stuff.
Hey, I know what definitely goes down is PoppinCulture is going down in South Dakota. Apparently.
Okay.
We got to get you up out there, though. We'll do a guest spot for you, and I guess we'll do a meet and greet in South Dakota for you and all the fans.
When I told about Certified Comics, Nestor, T-Links, Nettles, the group, I told T-Links, I was like, hey man, just take my word for it. I should headline when we go to South Dakota. Like, just take my word for it on this one.
We'll sell way more tickets, bro. Just let me do this.
I know it's gonna be hard to believe this, but I just take my word for it on this one. The second part of that question is, when you become that level, do you feel like you'll be look more to when it comes to looking at your features and openers? Of course, it's like anybody. You mesh with the people that you came up with. You mesh with people you know that's not going to ruin your show. You mesh with people that are going to help you put on good shows. But how do you feel like the flip from being on top to being an underdog for you? How do you think you'll feel once that flip happens?
So from going from the underdog to the top, you mean?
Yeah. How do you think you will feel in like the transition?
I think like most things in life, when you notice it, it's gonna come as a surprise because even though in your mind you believe I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna do the things I want to do in life, it's still kind of just a figment of imagination, and it's just your willpower to drive you to work hard, to go to these shows, to do this, to try and give yourself the best opportunity to make yourself into that person you want to become. But at the end of the day, it's a long shot. So when it happens, I think I'm gonna be surprised and thankful for it. I'm not super egotistical, so I don't think I'm gonna become like my friends, like my best friends. Literally, they tell me they think if I were to become that, like you said, when I become that person to do well or whatever, they like, we already know you about to change on us, big dog. And I was like, damn niggas, y'all, I think I'm gonna change on y'all. And like, come on, bro. Like you don't think you're gonna change when you get a little bit of fame and success? I mean, I'll be doing a little bit more things with some holes and stuff, but that's about it. I'm just taking advantage of the opportunity that comes to me. But besides that, I'm still the same guy deep underneath. Like you could walk up to me in the grocery store, like I don't ever want to get to the point in life to where I would turn somebody down, a fan down for anything. Like I've always told stories of like it'll get overwhelming like every day somebody coming up to you, hey, can I get an autograph? Hey, can I get a picture? Blah, blah, blah. But I may not be able to have a conversation with everybody I meet, but I do want to make sure I make time for that person, any person that wants to talk to me or wants to meet me. Like I want to make sure I give you at least a hey, what's up? What's your name? Let me give you this picture. Let me sign whatever you want me to sign. So hopefully I'm able to keep that promise. But if it's to the point to where, like, I don't know, if I needed security, I'll find it hard to cross the street because I'm literally, even though my security guard's trying to pull me across, I'm like, hold on, let me sign these things real quick. Let me take these pictures. He's like, sir, you got a meeting you got to go to. I'm like, wait, these people got me here. And hopefully that's the mindset I hope to continue to. And I think keeping my family close to keep me humble because family humbles you like no other, don't they?
Oh, bro, you shit. Let me tell you, like, well, you know, I grew up Joe Witness, so I'm not one anymore. So I haven't talked to my family in like 6 years, so 6 or 7 years now. I haven't talked to my family since. But my fiance and my mother-in-law, bro, I tell you, buddy, boy, they say some mean stuff, man. Not like super mean,
It's
but like they
crazy.
let me know. They're just like, so you going to perform for $40? I was like, it's for the exposure. Exposure. Okay. All right. All right. This light bill don't say exposure.
How you gonna feed my daughter with exposure? That's what I want to know.
Oh shit, don't say daughter, I got a son. Don't put that shit on me.
No, I thought you said your fiance's mother.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, her too. Yeah, she's calmed down though. But yeah, I remember she was just like exposure. Cause I did this show in Raleigh and she was like, I was like, how much? I'm like, probably just 50. She like 50. Who driving 3 hours, $50? So just like it's exposure. Oh, exposure. This man getting paid with exposure. I was like, all right, when's she going home? This one. But she but is there anything else you'd like to say about underdogs and how they have influenced pop culture?
Mm, maybe just real quick, I'll just talk about why I chose the topic. I think what I was thinking about when you asked me the question, I was like, let me choose something that's kind of upbeat that I can talk about, that I have a lot of passion about. And I think we do need these stories to show us that, like, because in life, many, not many, there are people in life who are talented and blessed with skill out of this world that they didn't even have to work for or didn't even have to do anything for. They just had it. Like, I remember the moment I found this out, I was playing football in high school, and I used to be the guy that trained every day and stayed after late. I went to the gym late. I mean, stayed in the gym late. I went to practice early, and I was just trying real hard to try to like get to the point where I'm starting and can do good. And I was playing quarterback, and so it was coming up to my junior year to where I was going to become that next guy that they were thinking. So like, okay, he's been here. We've seen him working. He's prepared. But junior high school, bro, I promise you, I could not. I don't know what it was. I couldn't throw the ball past 30 yards. I was accurate as hell, but I couldn't throw it past 30 yards. I was 120 pounds, so I was kind of frail, but couldn't throw it past 30 yards. And so I remember, like, I'm a junior. It's it's this normal little walkthrough day, and they brought out the Pee Wee team, which is eighth and seventh graders, and they just brought them out. And somebody asked the Pee Wee quarterback, they was like, "Hey, throw the ball for us really quickly, because we just want to see, because we heard about this kid's arm." And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Kid was taller than me. He was 6 foot. I'm 5'6" at the time, so he was 6 foot, but he was skinny as a stick. Like, I'm 120 at 5'6", so I still look skinny, but I'm like, okay, but he's 6 foot, like 135. So it's like this kid is,
Oh yeah.
it was crazy how he looked with it. But they told him to throw the ball. They gave this motherfucker the ball. He's standing on the 50-yard line. And I was throwing it before he was throwing it. So you just see my ball going to the 20 or to the 40-yard line, just woo, perfect catching it and running it. He took it, didn't even do a warm up or nothing, and just slung it. And the ball went through the goalpost. So not only did it go to 50 yards to the goal line, it went another 10 yards after that. And I looked at him and I was like, this motherfucker's blessed. I don't know how I'm going to beat this shit out. Never saw the field, never got to start or nothing like that. And I understood it. He was better than me. I'm not a hater. As you can see, I'll give it to him. He deserved to start. He's better. But I remember as soon as I learned that lesson, I was like, some people just got it, bro, and you can't do nothing about it. You can't, and no matter what you say or do, some people just got this shit. Like my uncle, he told me that after I told him what happened that day at practice. He was like, "Hey, I hate to tell you this, nephew, but some people can wake up out of bed and just do the shit." And I was like, "Damn,
That's
what's the
mad
point of even
genetics, man.
trying?" And he was like, "For you, yo, mad genetics." And I just kind of wanted to choose that topic to let people know that, like, you may not be as where you want to be in life or who you want to be in life. We all need to make sure we still focusing on that end goal and putting in all the effort we can to get to that point to where if it does happen, you feel you that much better about it because it wasn't supposed to happen for you, you know?
Yeah. But man, that's wise words, man. Thank you for sharing those gems, man.
Of
Um,
course, of course.
but thank you again for coming on, man. Is there anything you like to say to your fans? And please tell people where they can follow you.
Uh, I just want to say appreciate everybody that's supporting me. Appreciate y'all checking out my boy Michael's podcast, PoppinCulture. It's always going down in here. To my fans, we gonna get there. We gonna be there. And when we there, we gonna turn up together. Uh, You can follow me on my Instagram at Jaylen Orr. It's my name, Jaylen space ORR. My handle is J_Brezzy, BREZZY 009. And that's pretty much the platform I'm most using. So I think that'd be the best one to follow me on. But yeah, man, appreciate you having me on, Mike. It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to get this one up for a minute.
No problem. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and have an amazing day.